What's going on, everybody? This is the Black Room. I'm here with my guy, D.Fry.
Yeah.
We're in here to talk real quick with y'all, you know what I mean? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, for starters, I'm glad you used my nickname. I was wondering if you were going to do that or not.
Of course. You're my guy.
So, I'm living here in Cape. I'm a Jackson alumni, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's a horror story all on its own.
It's all good. Yeah. Dude is funny, man. Been knowing him for a minute, man. Funny guy. But we've had conversations before about paranormal and all these different things. So I brought him in here to talk about these certain subjects or whatnot. So first of all, I'm just going to jump right into it. Did you see The Nun?
I did. Just last night, finally.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Use this. It's not necessary. You just saw it last night. Tell me about it. What'd you think?
I loved it. I think it was great. It was an awesome another installment to the whole Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like
spoiler alert. We're going to spoil things. So spoiler alert. All right, I'm going to give y'all 5 seconds to turn this shit off.
Sorry.
2, 1, go ahead.
All right. So The Nun was great, man. It was they had all those good little jump scares in it that everybody loves and expects.
Right.
I think it could have been better though.
I feel that way too, man. When I saw it, I was like, the ending kind of didn't make sense.
No.
Because if they banished Valak back to hell, then why did he possess somebody else?
Right, it visibly showed them
sending
him back, but yet he still possessed Frenchie.
Right.
Frenchie.
But I did kind of like that twist, though, how they kind of tied in the first one. That was kind of cool, but I didn't think... I'm like, I guess it's kind of giving the audience what they want, but at the same time keeping the story going. So, yeah, I didn't really get that part. That's what got me.
But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. Could have had more scare factor to it. I think they're going more for a laid back,
right?
Even with some comedy in there,
right?
I mean, Frenchie was quite the character.
Yeah, I think with that one, that was I don't want to say the first one. Because the last time they showed The Nun, that real suspenseful horror, that shadow moving and then the way it was coming down the hall when the lady committed suicide, I was like, man. It's that's what's been missing to me when it comes to The Conjuring. But overall, I love them. I love them all. Great
movies. And The Nun, I mean, I like how they've used The Nun to incorporate all these movies together. It's the one underlying thing that you've seen in all of them, even Annabelle.
Right.
But yet, in real life, I don't think The Nun is anything in the real stories. I think that's just something the writers have kind of fabricated.
Yeah. I agree. That's one thing that kind of puts that one outside of the realm. You could tell it's for movies.
Yeah.
So. For me, I still think, and this might not be popular, but I still think the first Conjuring was the scariest one.
That's usually how it always plays out.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
They can never do better than that first. They get that first hype going.
I really, really got heavily into the demonic possession movies. I think the first one, I ever saw was the Exorcism of Emily Rose. That was the first one I saw when I first got into horror films. Black people don't fuck with horror films like that, man. I'm trying to take girls to the movie. I don't fuck with that shit. Now I'm not trying to go home by myself. I got to turn on all the lights and be dreaming. I'm like, I don't even want to hear it.
Maybe they smart for that, though.
Right.
Who I went with last night, she's the one that wanted to go see it. And now she's by herself in a different town. And I was telling her we were about to do the show, and we'd be talking about The Nun and stuff. And I was like, oh, by the way, speaking of The Nun, I'd probably stay away from mirrors and doors tonight. Like, I'm the worst person to go see a movie with because afterwards I'm going to be sending you texts while you're like at home alone. Like, yo,
that's me, man. I do that shit, but I'm in the movies most of the time. I go just to laugh at the girl I'm with. Like, that's part of it. That's the hilarious part. You can't go to a horror film with a bunch of dudes. It's just you got to go with a chick. You
can, and I could lead us into.
Tell me about it.
My all-time favorite scary movie so far that's come out in recent years is the Sinister movies.
Man, who you telling? I just told somebody the other day that's my favorite. The first one.
That was by far because I like the demonic possession movies, but I feel like that's more suspense than it is the jump scare.
Right.
And the jump scare, the Sinister had that on point.
Right. Yeah, they was real creative with it. Like the one that got me. That's one of those movies you have to see in the theaters pretty much unless you got like a dope ass TBL.
Oh yeah.
But the jump scare that really got me was the one with when he was looking through the house, he heard the kids at night, and then the little girl's face just jumped right beside him. Man, that scared the shit out of me, man.
I think the one that got me was at the end. That had like he's climbing up the stairs to the attic. He like just pops his head up and boom, that dude's right there.
Right.
I went to see that movie with a group of like 12 people, and it was majority guys.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, gotcha. And by the end of the movie, my best friend was crying. This is a guy. My best friend is crying, and two of my other homeboys had already walked out.
Yo, how do you feel about part 2?
Part 2, I like how they kept the story going. I don't think it was near as good with the jump scares.
Me too.
But it was still overall an awesome movie.
What's your take on jump scares?
Man, you can't go wrong with them. Like I like anything that gets that, and I'm a very easy person to jump scare. But I'll be like, most people at the theaters, you go to see a movie like that, everybody's screaming and yelling.
Right.
They're yelling whatever.
Right.
I'll be like, I'll do the same thing, but the moment afterwards, I'm also laughing my ass off.
Right. Man, that jump scare shit, it's funny because some people really don't like it. Some people are just like, it's cheap and this, that, now. It's not real horror, but I don't give a fuck. It's like an amusement ride to me. Yeah, it's a real ride. Yeah,
it gets your adrenaline going. It keeps you in tune with the movie. Like
exactly.
Just a straight horror film with the suspense and the drama.
Exactly.
You might get halfway through and be like, I'm over this.
Right.
I don't want to watch this no more.
I look at it like going through a haunted house. If there's nothing to jump out and scare you, it's just a bunch of.
We need better ones in this area.
Oh yeah,
with Halloween coming up.
Right. Haunted Hall of Horrors kind of did, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Seymour Fair?
Yeah, unfortunately.
You have? Yeah, no, it's like a big ball of shit for the most part. Like, you get scared here and there, but you got to pay a hell of a lot of money.
Man, there's one up in St. Louis that I've always wanted to go to. I don't know the name of it, but you pay like $100.
Oh, shit.
And it's like a 6-story building. You start on floor 1, you got to work your way up.
Let's go, man.
And like, I think if you make it all the way through, but you have to sign a waiver before you even go in.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
Yeah,
they like push you and all that shit.
Yeah, like you'll be up on like the 3rd floor, and they'll have like those big ass like mat things down on the ground. And if you get close to a window or something, they'll push your ass out.
Yeah, I heard of that. Yo.
Yeah. If you make it to the 6th floor, though, you get your $100 back. I'm all right, let's see someone push our big asses out a window. I'm taking them with me if they do.
Right. I go. Let's go, man. I'm with it.
I'm telling you, I've always wanted to. I think it'd be fun. I get my $100 back.
I'm not really tripping about nothing scary. I think the one that I went to, the Seymour Fair one, I remember just being scared one time. And that was when, you're walking in the woods and whatnot. And we walked past Hannibal Lecter's cage. And he's sitting in there going crazy or whatever. And we got maybe about 75 yards away. And I turned around, that motherfucker was a dead sprint running right towards us. It scared the shit out of me, man. I was like, damn, how you get out?
Man, the thing that gets most people at the SEMO one, especially if it's your first time, is those damn chainsaws at the end.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not ready for it, It's gonna scare the shit out of you.
Man, I remember being a kid and I was behind my big cousin, A-Train. And man, he just, at that time, it was like they had built a fake elevator or whatever. And you just standing there, you waiting for the doors to open. As soon as the doors open, they took off because they'd been in there before. I had been in there and they left me, man. I was terrified.
Oh.
Like, that's fucked up, man. How y'all just gonna leave me?
See, but then you know it. So
Right.
then the trick is now that you're prepared for it, you find your chick friends that haven't been. Then you just got them to cling on.
Right.
You just take like you and 3 other girls.
Right.
Like, your homeboy's like, "Can I go?" Like, no.
Yeah, you
stay.
feel like Superman for the night, huh?
I always
feel like
did that.
Superhero.
Right? I always did because I'd always go out with my sister and her friends. She's 2 years older than me.
Right.
So I was always running around with them, and oh man, my sister had some sexy friends. So they'd be like, "You want to go to see some haunted houses?"
That always helps.
Yes, I do.
It absolutely.
Am I gonna have you, and you? Like my sister's like, "Bubby, save me." I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I gotta protect your friends first."
Right. I'll be your knight in shining armor for the night, baby. I got you. But back to the movie Sinister, man. I remember being terrified of certain movies as a kid, but Sinister was just, I wasn't a kid, I was an adult, but still, I was like, man, the very first scene with the bags over their heads and noose around the neck, and then the tree branch just lifts up, I was like, what the fuck?
It's wild from start to finish.
Right. What the fuck? I remember, I think that might have been the first time I ever felt like I jumped out of my skin. Like the part when they were pulling the bodies into the swimming pool, and that motherfucker turned and looked. Oh man, it was chilling.
Man, I want to know. I want to know, like, who are the crazy, sick-minded fucks?
Right.
That sit there and, like, write out how they're going to kill off their families.
Right. Thought of the murder, so I'm like, damn.
Like, I hope y'all ain't doing that in your downtime.
Especially the lawnmower. The lawnmower was fucked up. I was like, damn.
Man, lawnmower scenes are always good, though.
Yeah.
It's like, not so much a horror movie, but more suspenseful, but The Happening.
Right.
That was a good. That lawnmower scene was probably one of my favorites.
I saw that. Yeah, that was nice too. Yo, the new Halloween trailer. What's your take on that?
I think it's gonna be great.
Man, I've been waiting. How do you feel about the Rob Zombie one?
Man, I love him. I think Rob Zombie is a great director.
I do too.
Obviously, he's got the right mindset for this style of movie. I mean,
right.
We've all seen House of a Thousand Corpses.
Now, that movie. I remember seeing that movie and just being pissed off. I'm like, who the fuck thinks of this shit, man?
Rob Zombie does.
Right. I wasn't so much scared. I was just more like, ew, what the fuck?
It's not really. It's like one of those horrors where the whole time you're just like, man, people out here doing this?
Right. What? How did you grow up, motherfucker?
And he's supposed to be making another one too.
Yeah, I saw
the
it.
same like universe as the Devil's and same characters too. Captain Spaulding will be back.
Man,
it's one of my all-time favorite characters. That's probably who I'm going for is Halloween this year.
I want to be Bane. I said that a couple years ago. Got the Bane mask on a pressure 2 cover, but I want to be Bane for real.
You need a whole get up.
Right. I don't think I'm big enough on my thing. Like, we're like prosthetic arms and some shit.
You ain't gotta be big enough. That's the fun about Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Except for I somehow got like the perfect physique to play Captain Spaulding.
Man, you I guess we'll get into that later. I want to stay on the movies. Do you remember a movie when you were a child that just horrified you?
Jaws.
What the fuck, Jaws?
I mean, horror films as a child is whatever you perceive as horror.
Okay. Did you live by a beach or something?
Nah, man. Those movies scarred me. When I did go to the beaches, though, I would not get in the water. I'd be like ankle deep.
No.
My dad would be like, "Go swim, you little motherfucker." I'm like,
exactly,
"No,
exactly. Fuck that. Ain't stupid. It's too much shit in there. I know
what's out there. And then there's that one time that a dolphin popped up while I was swimming.
Oh shit!
And like, I didn't think dolphin. I was like,
"This is
it. This is it. Like, this is all my fears coming true.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna get eaten."
Right. Fuck that.
No, I was too much of a horror. I liked horror movies too much to be scared of them.
Okay.
I'm that weird kid.
I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of shit to be scared of either. Like, in the 90s, a lot of horror films was kind of corny. Like, remember Fred? Like, no disrespect to Freddy, but Freddy was a jokester. Freddy wasn't that scary to me.
He really wasn't.
Then you had Child's Play. You know what I mean? Like Chucky and all that.
That one probably got to me a little bit more than
Chucky
the rest.
was scary.
But man, Friday the 13th, I was in love with that stuff. When I was like 2-3 years old, I would not, most kids, they won't go to bed unless they get to watch like Paw Patrol or some crap these days.
Oh, shit.
I would be like, I wouldn't go to bed unless I got to watch Friday the 13th.
Okay, you're a true horror fan. Okay. All right, no jokes.
Like, I'm watching some horror films and then I'll go to bed. Like, all right, Mom.
Right. The movie that did it for me the first time was fucking Candyman. Dude, and you could ask anybody, like, that was a kid at the time. Candyman scared the shit out of every fucking child that there was, man. That's
so true.
And then Tales from the Hood. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
Dude, Tales from the Hood was creepy as fuck. It's almost like Tales from the Crypt, but like all these different stories, like about like slavery, and then you had like police brutality, and then you had like all this gangster shit going on, but it kind of puts you in the mindset of like you identify with these people, these people, these types of people, and they could be like this or that. You know what I mean? And Tales from the Hood scared the shit out of me, man. Cops had killed this one dude on there, and he ended up coming back haunting them, and that was the scariest shit. Oh no! Then there was the slave dolls and their great grandmother and shit. They come haunt people. That shit scared the shit out of me.
I'm not a fan of the doll thing.
Dolls, no joke.
Man, like my grandma, they're not my grandma, my sister's grandma, because we got different dads. But I used to go like stay at their house all the time as a kid, so I'd have to stay in the guest room. And that crazy old lady had that entire room full of porcelain dolls. So, like, I'm watching, that's why Child's Play messed with me so much. Because, like, I got to watch these dolls coming to life on these movies. And then then next weekend, I'm going to grandma's and sleeping in that creepy-ass room. Right. I didn't sleep much, that's for sure.
Yeah, those creepy-ass dolls. I remember being a kid and being afraid of dolls coming alive and shit. So, I get what you're saying.
Some Freaky Friday fucking Toy Story gone wrong type shit.
He did just say Toy Story. Yo, that's real. What I think, out of all the movies I've seen, the Annabelle doll's got to be the creepiest looking one.
Oh, for sure,
dude. And that doll doesn't even look like the real one. Have you seen the real one?
Yeah, it's creepy.
Right. The real one is a Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah, it's
like a fat-faced Raggedy Ann doll sitting in a cage.
Something you'd see at grandma's house. See why I was so terrified?
Right.
Or, man, have you seen... It's all about, like, puppets and the doll theme. The Dead Silence.
Dead Silence.
Yeah, Dead Silence. That's a great movie. Okay. It's like... It's this old puppet lady... And, like, she's also, like, super psychotic and murders people. And she turns humans into puppets and pretty much, like, builds her puppets after these people she's killed. Their souls are trapped, whatever.
Damn.
But, like, after she dies, she continues to haunt this, like, theater because of the way she was treated or whatever. And if you scream, that's how she gets you. Like, the whole point, the only way you're supposed to make it out safe is you don't scream.
Right.
The moment you scream, she gets you. She rips your tongue out and boom, you're a puppet.
Okay.
Some creepy stuff, but it goes along with that like whole doll vibe because there's random puppets just hanging out and like doing some weird stuff.
You're afraid of dolls? There's a movie on Netflix, I believe. It's new. It just came out a couple months ago. I forgot the name of it. God, what's it I had to look it up, but basically, in the movie, this is about this mother and her two daughters that get attacked one day, and then the mother fights off these two serial killers, and she kills them both. And one of the daughters is really, really traumatized by it, and the other one is like losing her mind because of it. And it's showing how they grew up, and looking back on it, then there's this huge, huge twist that makes the movie just great. It's crazy. But basically, how do I say it? Basically, those killers, she started writing a book or whatever about what happened, and in the book, she gets treated like a dog by those serial killers. They have to put on makeup. If she move or make too much noise, punch her in the face, all type of shit. It's crazy, movie.
It's creepy, man. There's real people out there that do that shit too.
Yeah, I bet it is. Oh, people are nuts, man. I was watching what was that? Like the Amityville situation.
Man, I've always wanted to go visit that house.
Oh, fuck that. You on your own.
Well, see, I'm
terrified.
I'm your typical white person. Like, oh, there's ghosts in here, and they might kill you if you spend the night. Let's go do it.
I mean, I'm not afraid of no ghosts, but I'm afraid of
some demons.
Demons, yeah. Like, dude,
some weird
the
stuff.
shit that I heard about that, like, I was watching a story, and basically, the dude, I forgot his name, Ronnie something. He just shot 6 people while they were laying in the bed. None of them moved. Shot them all there. Like no neighbors heard any sounds. And this is an old time shotgun, so it's dumb loud. And the only thing the neighbors heard was the dog barking. And shot them all while they were asleep. Dude said Ronnie Fields. I think, maybe he's something different. But anyway, he said he had no recollection of what happened. He don't know what happened. And he felt like shit. He was sorry, this, that, and other. He said, man, when they went back to test, they was like, well, maybe he just moved the bodies there or whatever. When they went back and checked ballistics, every one of them was laying right where they got shot. I'm like, what the fuck? That's proof. That's crazy.
Oh man, those movies are intense though. That's some of the. I think those are the best. Like, I know the whole Conjuring, like, universe, all these movies that are coincide with each other, they're all based off of somewhat true stories. Yeah. But that's what they're somewhat true. Right. Like, nobody is able to, like, which the other ones are somewhat true too. We can't really prove any of it. Right. But I feel like the other ones are just more terrifying. They're like backstories. Like, the backstories for all these Conjuring movies are just these weird adventures that Ed and Lorraine Warren apparently went on. Right. But the Amityville, that's just based off of news articles and some real stuff.
All real shit. What do you know about Bathsheba? I did some research on her too. Yeah, she was a real live witch. And she was trying her best to get as close to Satan as she could get. So, in her mind, the ultimate evil was to kill her kids. After she killed so many of her kids, she tried to have more. She couldn't have more. She started adopting kids and killing them. And after a while, she got caught. And as the police were coming up, she ran up a tree and hung herself. Not climbed, ran up a tree and hung herself, according to legend.
Right.
And she was completely nuts, just pure evil. And I saw picture of her grave, and there was an article on there that said, her grave, her actual headstone had been struck by lightning twice. Like, damn, the fuck are we dealing with?
She being spited by the heavens even through death. That's what that sounds like.
Crazy, man.
Like, we gotta make sure you just stay down there. Like, let's hit this bitch a couple more times.
Right. Yo, that Bathsheba story was crazy. That was one of the best jump scares I've ever seen, too. Was when, the girl had walked back, and she turned around, Bathsheba was up there on top of it. I was terrified, man.
I just wish, all these horror movies based off of true stories is, there's no There's no like real evidence because back then we just didn't have the recording and the technology we do now, which I think a lot of the recording with like ghost hunters and shit, that's all bullshit. I don't think they're really seeing thing or hearing it. Sometimes they do.
Shit, I have a story. You ready to hear it?
Oh, I'm ready.
Dude, I've seen ghosts with my own eyes, at least. Let me see. 5 different occasions. And before it, and that's what led me to faith. Like, I used to be a kid, like, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in spirits. Let me tell you something. Once I saw these motherfuckers, I was like, whoa. And I don't think everybody's able to see them. That's what fucked me up. Like, I've had premonitions before. I remember in 2005, I had got a vision. I was leaving court. I got a vision that my dad died in a car accident. So I immediately called him. Well, I told my aunt 'cause she was driving the car, and she was just like, call him. I'm like, immediately called him. I'm like, man, what you doing today? He was like, nothing. I'm like, man, just stay at home. Just stay at home today or whatever. And a couple hours later, my little brother got hit by a car and died. Yeah. He was only 11. He got hit. It wasn't by a drunk driver. It was just by this old lady that couldn't see well. And, like, his handlebar from his bike went into the side of his neck, broke his neck. But when I saw my first ghost, I was coming home from school, and my mom's got this old house, like, down by the river and shit. It's on Spanish Street. And, as I'm walking into the house, like, there's a staircase that goes like 3 or 4 steps this way and then a whole bunch of steps that way. So as I'm looking at the top of the stairs, I see white feet from a white man. Like a couple steps. What the fuck? Ran to the steps. Nobody's there. That was my first time seeing something. And, you know, I'm thinking, okay, you tripping or whatever.
You pulled the ultimate no-no in every horror scenario.
What, to go
you
look?
Went towards it.
Right. I was just like, am I seeing what I'm seeing? Because had it not been a person that were barefoot, I wouldn't have looked. Because I'm thinking, like, somebody breaking hair, why would they be barefoot? You know what I mean?
I don't know,
like,
man.
Maybe I'm tripping.
Are weird.
Right. Like, maybe I'm tripping. The door was, like, locked. So then, probably about, I say probably 3 or 4 months later, you know how you, in child development class, you take the little fake baby home and shit?
Yeah.
So I did. Right. So I was taking the baby home, and I remember I went to the barbershop with the baby. I came home, and I'm falling asleep, waking up, the baby's crying. I'm like, fuck. So sitting there rocking the motherfucker, wanting it to shut up or whatever, it wouldn't shut up. And as I looked to the left, there was somebody sitting on my dresser. You want to talk about almost pissing on yourself? And it had to be the same dude, white dude, young white guy, barefoot, really pale. Scared the living shit out of me, man. I didn't even want to move. I'm just looking at the motherfucker like this. I couldn't do nothing. I wanted to cry. I didn't know what to do.
He was just like frozen, man.
He was sitting on my chest, and it was like as soon as he saw me and he noticed that I could see him, he took off running through the wall. Just disappeared. It was like he was swinging his legs, and then he was like, and took off.
Realizing that you could actually see him.
Right.
He ain't used to that.
Craziest shit ever. So that's what had me like weirded out by certain things. Seeing the same dude again. Now this is years later. It's probably maybe 2-3 years later. So I was working on my first movie. My second movie. We had just finished filming, and for the day or whatever, I took him to my mom's house to get something to eat or whatever. Leaving, and I hop in my girlfriend at the time's car. I get on the passenger side. She's driving. My 2 cousins in the back. So I see the same dude run on my mom's rooftop, jump off. Now I'm thinking I'm losing my mind, so I don't say shit. As soon as the motherfucker jumps off, my cousin in the back, who's a girl, she was like, "Did y'all see that?" did y'all see that? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You saw it too? It's like, yeah. Now at this point, my girl is pulling off. She at the end of the block. So we seeing it through the back window. She's at the end of the block. So instead of turning around, she went all the way around the block. We just sat there for like 5-10 minutes just looking at the roof. I was like, dude, what the fuck? I didn't know other people can see them. This is how I knew I wasn't crazy. So
it's almost like reassuring now. It makes you feel good. Like you're not crazy.
Right. That was the last time I saw that one. Then it was all the way, that was like 07, 06, something like that. Then all the way to probably 2014. I was working at RM Coco, the fabric company down on Southern Expressway. And that used to be the old brown shoe factory. And we would always have random people come through with doing a tour or whatnot. But nobody was ever by themselves. Like, they would have like an employee giving them a tour or whatever in a warehouse. Right. And there's walls and walls of fabric, like 50 feet high, walls of fabric. So, and each aisle was probably about, I'd say about 100 feet. And I'm pushing the cart, get your fabric, put it on the cart, roll it up. So I rolled a cart up, went back to get a bolt of fabric, came back. Now, when I went all the way down to get a bolt of fabric, nobody was there. Probably about 5 to 10 feet near the end of the aisle, I look back, there's an old man, brown suit, old man just looking. He's not looking at me. He's not looking at anything. He's almost like he's looking at the floor. So, probably about, now keep in mind, this guy's like way at the end of the aisle. It's like 100 feet. Right. As soon as I walk like 5-10 feet, turn, he's right at my shoulder. Right. So look, soon as I turned and put the fabric on, I almost dropped it. I'm like, the fuck? He almost walked right into me. He was like this close to my shoulder. So I'm like, the fuck?
Feel chill.
He didn't react. No. That's bullshit.
You never know.
Well, I mean, I don't know about other people, but for me, it didn't feel cold.
Right.
He didn't react. He didn't look at me. He didn't acknowledge me. He just kept with that little same limp and walked to the left. Now, this is how I knew there was some crazy shit going on. I'm shook up. My dad worked there too. I walked up to his table where he cut fabric. I'm like, man, I think I just saw a ghost again. And he was like, man, what the hell are you talking about? Now, as I'm talking, this guy named Joe that's doing the shipping, he walks over, he's listening. And I described the dude, and he was like, so what did he look like? I'm like, I told him. He was like, no shit. He was like, all right, left, just walked away. What the fuck is Joe doing? You know what I'm saying? He working shipping. He can't just walk off like that. And he came back like 25 minutes later. Old newspaper. Is this the guy? I'm like, yeah, that's him. No shit. I'm like, yeah, that's him. He was like, man, this guy's been dead like 20 years. I was so fucking shook up, man. I left. I just went home for the day. I'm like, fuck that, man.
Nah.
Yeah.
Did he die there?
I don't know. But I found out it was the old brown shoe factory a long time ago. I had no idea. Like, it was like that for like 15 years before I started working there. But yeah.
That's crazy.
I think he just thought he was going to work.
It sounds like you got a gift you might not want.
Yeah. I haven't seen a ghost in a very long time. Now, the last time I saw one was outside this house. I was talking, this was 2014 too. 2015. I was talking to this girl. She had just brought me a card for my birthday. And as I'm sitting on the car and she's talking to me or whatever, I get up, go get my little hoverboard out. I'm doing spins and whatnot. And she walk up, she hugged me, kissed me, whatever. I'm leaning against the car. And I just see somebody walk out from the shadows side of the house. I'm like, what the fuck is that by the house? Walk right back. Walked into the side of this house over here. There's no door right here. Right. Walk right through the fucking wall. And she was just like, what the fuck are you looking at? I'm like, you don't see that man right there? Yeah. So That was the last time. I haven't seen one in a long time. That's the only reason why I believe in ghosts, man.
You're probably chilling in here listening to us right
now. Yeah, he was an older dude. He had on not long johns, but overalls, plaid shirt, looked like a farmer or something.
Right, probably someone from like early 1800s. That sounds like some early 1800s get up.
Right. That scared the shit out of me. But I know an old lady used to live over there for years, like 30 years.
Could have been her husband.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Maybe if somebody she knew, husband, dad, somebody, I don't know. So yeah,
I ain't never seen nothing that detailed. Yeah, but I've definitely had my own experiences that you once you do it, once you see something like that yourself, it's just you can't deny it anymore. Like,
so what'd you see?
Man, I'm more than positive that. Like, I guess for each person, it's going to be a different aspect. Like, once you see something like that, it could reassure some kind of faith that you have.
Yeah.
And for me, it's more of like a spiritual kind of basis than like God and heaven. Right. But I think that there's still, like, after death, there's still people that kind of linger around. Before they head off to the big bad universe and wait their next turn is kind of the vibe I feel with how it works. Right. None of us really know, but that's what I get from it. So I think that maybe there's like certain people that stick around and protect the living in their current state because we're fragile in these physical forms of ours,
and they know more than us. So, that's what I think.
You know, I think that something that you might see reoccurrence could just be, I feel like maybe it's like a guardian angel type of thing. Maybe it's like each person gets assigned an individual. Right. And maybe they're just this being, right? They could just be this ball of energy, but they might take some kind of form of like a past life just so if you do see them, you feel a little bit more comfortable. Because I think seeing some figure wouldn't freak me out near as much as just some like floating ball of light.
Right. That right there, I just think they're stuck. I think everything has energy, and I think, like for instance, have you ever woke up and you couldn't move?
Sleep paralysis?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I've never had that.
But I felt like that before, and I was just like terrified. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? I was almost saying that, but I was just like,
you can't even talk. I got friends that go through it. Yeah.
It's almost like you can't breathe or anything. It's like something didn't connect. But I just think that's a balance of energies because the people that I see or that I've seen, they don't really acknowledge. How do I say it? It's like they're going on by their day. Like the only one I ever seen acknowledged me with the guy that looked at me from my dresser. But even before that, what the fuck was he doing? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he noticed you, so they have some kind of awareness.
Right. And he wasn't like sad or anything. He was just happy-go-lucky ass dude. Probably like 19, 20 years old.
They probably don't have emotions. It's just
right.
Like, one slate. But I definitely feel like there's something there with everybody. I don't think even when you're alone, you ain't alone. Right. And I don't know. I feel like the spirits follow each family just based off of my experiences because my family has one of those, and he's been seen by more than just me, or more than just like it's been seen across the board. My aunts, a couple of my cousins, uncles, and I remember the first time I ever heard of him. I'd already seen him before, and he doesn't have any facial features. Damn. It's just this like tall, dark, like you can tell it's Indian. Like he's native. Man. It's some kind of native spirit. Man. And he always pops up at really odd times. Like when he's like the most needed. It's almost like he's a protector of our family rather than this angry spirit. Because like he's only popped up on certain occasions, and I've seen him before when I was younger. And then the first time I ever heard someone else talk about him was we were on a camping trip, and my uncle was telling us a story of when he was younger about how he was walking along the side of the road, and this figure that I've seen, he described just how I had seen him, And he's like, he popped up. He's seeing him on the same side of the road as him. And it made him, you know, he was freaked out because he's out walking by himself. And, you know, it's my uncle. So we're talking he was probably my age back in like late 80s.
Right.
So he said he switched to the other side of the road. And then not 30 to 45 seconds later, a car came out of nowhere screeching down the road and crashed right on the side of the road he would have been on.
Right.
So it's like he popped up. He might have scared him, but he made him move.
I see what you said.
So he wouldn't have. And I've seen him in all times of need. Like the last time I seen him was in. See, it would have been 17. When was that? I probably would have been like 2012, 2011.
Yeah,
was the last time I seen him, and it was at my house that I was living in at the time. And I'd been going through some major personal crap, and I was having thoughts I probably shouldn't have been having.
Suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, and I seen him like he just out of nowhere. Like I was just sitting there at the house by myself, lights on, full. Like there was no dark shadows, no mind tricks going on. Just this plain human figure standing in my doorway. All of a sudden, he don't say nothing. It just stands there.
Damn.
And knowing what he's been around my family before, I'm just like, all right, you're here for a reason. Obviously, this ain't my time yet.
Right.
You're here because I shouldn't be joining you yet.
Well, you know, natives really believed in that, like the spiritual world. They're all heavy into that shit. Very devout faiths in that.
The peyote probably helped too.
Right. They believe in all of that shit. Like they believe everything has a spirit, from the trees to all animals and the earth, all that. Yeah, so you never know, man. Like there's so much that we don't know, man. And if it wasn't for me seeing that stuff with my own eyes, I probably wouldn't believe half the shit I'm saying right now. Like if somebody else said it, I probably would like, get the fuck out of here. But man, and then my mom, I told my mom about it, and she was just laughing, whatever. But when I started sneaking and sleeping in my little sister's room on the floor, she was like, "Why you always down here?" I'm like, "Man, cuz in my room I seen some crazy shit." She thought I was bullshitting until it's like 6 months down the road, I'm still sleeping on my little sister's floor. So she was just like, "Okay, you must not have been bullshitting." I'm terrified, man.
And some of my experiences were definitely more terrifying, you know, and that's more of like a save my life special kind of one of those. But I've definitely had scary ones, man. I've had ones where like things have shaken, things have fallen off of walls. There was one night, I don't know what did it, what was there, what could have been going on, but it was just me. And at the same time, every damn picture in our house fell off the wall.
Oh, fuck that.
Like, you can't
that's
tell
just
me.
like The Conjuring,
right.
man. Fuck that.
And that's what's going through my mind. Like, you can't, like, I didn't feel no earthquake. I didn't feel this or that. Like, what people try to tell, oh, it's a coincidence. No, fuck you and your coincidence.
Right. That's the thing that they said about Amityville Horror. That's what they took on The Conjuring, because on Amityville Horror at 3:15, when the dude had killed his family, they said clocks would stop at that time. And, like, this man that moved in the house, he said he would always wake up at 3:15. No alarm clock, none of that.
I hate waking up at 3.
Fuck that. Huh?
I hate waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I know you can't go to sleep. You up too long. You haven't been to sleep much. It's terrible. Man, that's scary. I saw the one with Ryan Reynolds, the Amityville movie. It was alright. I ain't like that much.
It's like a reboot. Reboots are never good.
Right. I think they need to really do it with The Conjuring, James Wan and all them. Man, James Wan making a serious name for himself.
If he keeps on the roll he's going, he could be up there with the big dogs.
Right. I think he might be scratching the surface a little bit. He did the Insidious movies too.
Man, those are something else. Now, when I've quit drinking, but when I was drinking, drunk me is the biggest pussy ever. Like I was hanging out at a friend's house, and we decided to watch scary movies, and I was down with it, and we had a good time enjoying the first couple movies, but I was drinking pretty heavily, and I blacked out at some point. I was still talking to my friend, and we were still watching movies, but I wasn't there.
Oh, shit.
I was there, but I wasn't there. But apparently, I was like a little schoolgirl with a pillow in front of my face. We were watching the newest one, the Last Key, the Insidious Last Key. Yeah. And I couldn't finish it, apparently. Like, Blackout Me told my friend to shut it off. I was like, I was like, no, we're done.
The Last Key is pretty good.
And it is good, but we watched it sober and I felt fine. It just drunk me as a pussy.
Right. That one, I was kind of disappointed with the antagonist. It's a pretty shitty villain. See, that's like a clown. Man.
The Insidious, they're good, but those are the ones that I was talking about where, like, you kind of fall off from them, like, because there's not many jump scares in those. Yeah. It's more or less just like, all right, this is some creepy possession type stuff, and you're going into weird dimensional worlds.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the first two, like that one jump scare that really got me was the one with the lady that we found out later it was a dude the whole time in the black dress was walking outside the house and then all of a sudden disappeared. I was like, okay. That one got me. That's how I felt also about Annabelle. When the little girl was running towards him and then bust through the door, it was an adult. Oh. Like that.
You ain't ready for that.
Right. Those jump scares are the ones like, oh my God. Wasn't ready for that one at all.
I love watching jump scare movies in the theater because it thoroughly makes me happy to hear all the different styles or responses people give during that scene. Right. You'll get anywhere from just straight on screeching to the classical oh shit and oh fuck. Right. Those are my favorite. When you just hear like a series of different voices screaming oh shit.
Right. Or the ones where and this is where I get a lot with the girls I date. They always like They can like see it coming. Or if it's something really creepy like the part with the nun what was it? The nun walking down the hallway and then the music is like like real like that shit. Like yeah, you already know it.
They start giving commentary like, "Girl, why are you doing that? Don't
right. Yo, that's so true. I hate, man. There's nothing I hate more than going to the movies and there's some fucking weirdo just sitting there with all the food and all that, just laying back laughing the whole time. Have you ever had that? Like, dude, what the fuck are you in here cracking up loud for, man?
Yeah, it's okay to laugh after you scream, but please be scared a little bit, or I might, you ain't got, like, an AR tucked up underneath your jacket there, buddy.
This one dude, he was just sitting there. Fuck, are you sitting back laughing? I'm like, really, man? It's not even that funny, man. Chill out. That shit ruined my whole damn movie.
It's like, it's like, yeah, there's some humor to it, and it's okay to think horror is funny.
Right.
But there's a point.
Right. Like, we're here to be scared, man. Relax. Shut up. You want to know something that can really ruin a horror film for me is, like, just stupid shit. Have you ever seen Quiet Place?
I haven't yet. I've been wanting to.
Man, I would tell you about it, but you haven't seen it. There's just so much stupid shit, like just a bunch of badass decisions, and wouldn't even be a movie if they did one thing right from the beginning.
Right, that's any movie. I hate people. That's the kind of people I don't like.
Right,
it's the people that sit there and go, "Now, why'd they do that?" Because if they didn't do it, there wouldn't be no fucking movie.
Right. Nah, and like I'm writing a horror film right now. And it's like, what's going to be scary about this one is you do everything right, but you still get caught. You still die. You know what I'm saying? It's still something that happens. But in this movie, it's like, it's so dumb. Like, it's next level dumb. Like, if I want to sacrifice myself, I'm just gonna take whatever weapon I have and just lay out. Come get me. Like, what the fuck is that? You ain't even gonna try to fight for your life or nothing. Right. It's just dumb as fuck. I don't get it.
If you're making a sacrifice, you gotta go down swinging.
Right, like, something.
You don't ever see someone in a movie that just got shot in the gut, left against a tree, just be like, okay, let them shoot me. No, they're firing every last round they got so everybody can get away.
Exactly. That's common sense.
Take out as many as you can.
Exactly, to help others, but you just, okay, eat me.
At that point, your sacrifice ain't a sacrifice.
Exactly.
You just chose to give up.
Man, I want to tell you what happened in that fucking movie.
I mean, I don't care.
That was a scene that was so dumb. Like, okay, the whole point of the movie is to be, spoiler alert. The whole point of the movie is to be quiet because these things, they're like aliens. They can hear you. As soon as they hear you, they come in and kill you because they can't stand sound. But you later on find out in the movie that there's only 2 of them. 2. That's got this whole place horrified. But anyway, the guy who's got kids and a pregnant wife, he sees the kids stranded somewhere in a truck. So he's got an axe. So instead of like banging an axe on something and trying to take this thing's head off, take it down with him, this motherfucker screams, ah! Throws the axe down and just get ate up. I'm like, what the fuck is that, man? What the fuck is that? I ain't just gonna give up like that. What type of shit is that?
Like, what do you think your kids are just like? What do they do now?
Right, you're gone. Like the fuck.
Like, you don't think that thing's gonna like just kill you, and then the moment your kids make a sound, then they're gonna die too.
Exactly. You haven't even seen it, and you get what I'm talking about, man. It's so ridiculous. I'm like, come on, dude. Cut it out, man. And then there's the scene where his wife is giving birth and she's trying to be quiet. He knows that he's out somewhere, so he sends the kids out to go set off some fireworks and then run and figure it out on their own while he stays there with the pregnant wife. I'm like, so you gonna sacrifice 2 kids for one? The fuck is that? That's crazy.
I mean, that's clever though, giving birth silently. If another woman actually pulled that off,
yeah, right,
she deserves an award.
Right, she tried, but it was kind of unsuccessful. I'm gonna tell you another movie, and I love this movie. I really do. Like, but some of the things they were doing in the movie, I was just like, oh my god, stop. Have you seen The Strangers? Mm-hmm. Have you seen Part 2?
No. I've just seen the first one.
Part 2 is fucking ridiculous. Part 2 is so fucking ridiculous, man. And look, I've heard this before. I don't know if you heard it before, but I've heard black people say, "Are white people this stupid from watching horror films?"
Yes. Yes, we are. I'll make that clear for everyone. We are.
That can't be, man. That can't be.
Why do you think we're going into these woods and like houses in the first? Ain't that the giveaway? Like the moment a group of white people hiking in the woods look at a haunted house and go, "Yeah, we can stay here tonight."
Oh, does that happen for real?
I'm sure it does.
I'm about to say, come on, dog. Don't tell me that.
You think they portray us that way in all these movies for a reason? Look,
it's crazy, man.
You wouldn't go in there, would you?
Fuck no.
No, and if there's a black guy in the group, he'd probably be like, y'all are fucking crazy.
He gonna be the first one dead, too.
Man, I seen a movie where the black guy was the only one that surved.
Man, me too.
I don't remember what it was.
They must have got hip to what we know.
It was an overseas movie. It was an international movie. It was on Netflix, I think. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like one of those. They went hiking, and then they start getting picked off one by the creepy like woods people
having sex in the woods,
right? And
gotta show some tits.
It's just this one guy that's like super good at hunting, and
right.
But all in all, like the entire time, you think it's gonna be the classic, because every horror I've always wanted to talk. Every horror movie that's like that is always the same. there's always a group of white people, and one black guy, and out of that group of white people, there's always the couple, the cute, adorable couple that usually survive together.
The alpha male.
You got the bitchy bitch that usually is the first to die. You got the guy's best friend who usually tries to save everybody, he gives his life up, whatever.
Right.
It's always how it works out. And this is how this movie started. So I'm like, okay, I'm foreshadowing. I'm like, all right, they gonna survive. She gonna die first. This black guy, he's dead.
Right.
And that's not how it turned out. Like it comes down to the couple and the black dude. That's who's left. Right. And I'm seeing it. I'm like, all right, so like, how's this couple gonna get out of this sticky situation? And then the chick dies, and I'm like, what?
What the fuck? Right.
And I'm like, wait,
that never happens.
And then the guy dies, and like they're all in this barn trying to fight this guy off, and then the guy and the black guy they're fighting the guy, and then the homeboy gets like stabbed in the head or something, and then the black dude comes out of nowhere and takes him out and kills the dude.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, oh my god, he survived. Right. So then he's walking down this lone road by himself, and then the movie really, really pissed me off because out of nowhere an arrow just goes through his head. I'm like,
get the
come
fuck
on.
out! All right,
like,
get the fuck.
You couldn't let one of them survive? One person, just let one.
I hate when they do that.
They kill everybody off.
Yeah.
Or you think someone survived? You're like, yay, good job, people, and then boom, they get like, who's this other dude? Like, I thought you just killed the bad guy.
Right.
Oh, it is. But he was the last one alive. I mean, we're making baby steps, right?
Right. Only time that ever happened was in Get Out. Yo, Get Out was crazy. Now, let me ask you this. As a white guy, how'd you feel about Get Out?
I don't know. Like, it was different.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought it was I
thought it was so weird. Like, I don't even know if I took it as a horror film, but
it's more like a suspense.
Definitely a thriller.
Yeah, like a drama. Like, I don't know, because like the guy's really not crazy, but he is.
Right.
He's more or less just trying to protect himself.
Right.
In a weird way. I don't know. It had me in all kinds of type of feels.
This is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. Like the whole hypnotizing thing and the whole racial thing and all that. I was like, damn, it's a weird ass movie. Extremely weird. But I think from listening to Jordan Peele talk about it, he was like, we were just trying to create satire and an exaggerative state of what it's like to be black around in America around a bunch of white people that really think this way. Not white people that you see every day, but like the politicians and the rich people and shit like that. Because I mean, I see it like even when I'm working or whatever, and I go to like a all white neighborhood, you get those looks. You know, as soon as you get out the car, it's like,
regardless if you're in your work uniform,
right?
Like,
it doesn't matter. Like they look like that, and that's what I've noticed too. Without the work uniform, if I go to these same neighborhoods, it's worse, way worse.
Oh yeah, they don't think you belong.
Right? It's crazy. It's crazy, but I mean, it's weird. You know, nothing you can do about it at this point. But let me see a movie that really, really shook me up when I first saw it was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not the one from the 70s, not the old one, but the rebirth one.
Right.
You know, with the one that had the girl that was with Justin Timberlake, his ex-girlfriend. You know what I'm talking about? That was on Seventh Heaven. What's her name? I think her name was Jessica Biel. But she was in it. And,
sounds about right.
And the old dude from, have you ever seen Life?
No.
Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, they went to jail. What else did that old guy play in? He always played an old, loudmouth, racist dude. Get that fucking piece of shit out of my fucking van. Something, you know what I'm saying?
That's I feel like I can picture him.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just picturing that stereotype.
He just died recently. Oh, man. He was in some war movie, too. Yeah, he just died recently. But that movie, like when old man was beating with his cane, like, come on, boy. Don't, come on, boy. And then Leatherface just opened the door, took a fucking ice pick, jabbed the dude, yanked him up. I was like, shit.
Some hard stuff.
Man. Who you got in the 1-on-1? Michael Myers or Jason?
Ooh, we gotta do this.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Myers or Jason?
To me, there are two answers.
Man, they two big dudes. They both strong as, like, straight get out.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm gonna have to go with my boy Jason.
Me too.
Mainly because, like, Michael Myers ain't dead already.
Right.
He's not like he's not this weird, like, come back to life type where he lives in a way. Like, Michael Myers is just a psychotic fuck.
Right. Michael Myers is a real person.
He's got that retard strength.
Hell yeah.
That's all that is. He had some issues as a kid. He grew up to be real big, and he's all psychotic, and
hell yeah.
That's all that is. And then he wears the mask, and he likes Halloween, so he kills on only that day. But Jason, on the other hand, he's got more kills under his belt, too. For starters, he's better, and he's got a better weapon. I mean, come on, a machete versus a kitchen knife.
Right. Only thing Michael Myers has better is the theme music.
Yeah.
Nothing beats that. Like horror. I can't think of one. Well, I don't know, because that old Exorcism thing. But I've never seen that. Sounds crazy, right? I've never seen the first Exorcism.
Really?
Never.
Man, there's a lot of spooky stuff that surrounds that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, there's several people that died on set during the making of the movie.
Damn. I saw somewhere where the little girl really got hurt. Like, when they were putting her on strings and stretching her body and slamming her to walls and shit, she really got, like, back injuries and all that.
Yeah, they had to, I think she fell or something. There's, like, a malfunction, and she wound up having to be in the hospital. And then, like, someone else fell down some stairs and wind up breaking their neck and dying. And,
God damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird conspiracy type shit going around the making of that movie.
That movie, that sounds like what I heard about the Poltergeist. That little girl and like the co-stars just start dropping like flies. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's because those whatever. I mean, they're basing these films off of supposedly true life events. So I mean, what doesn't say that those evil ass spirits are like? No, like we don't want people knowing what we're doing in this different realm of ours.
Yeah, that's crazy. That whole Poltergeist shit was weird. Did you see the new one? Like the reboot?
I don't think so. I don't think I'd want to. I'm not a fan of reboots. Like every time I tell myself I don't want to watch it because I know I'm going to be disappointed, but I watch it anyways, and I'm like, well, yeah, fuck, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it wasn't all that bad. I mean, just slightly under the first one, but it's
just that's all. No one's got like. To me, it's like reboots. Really, like it's all Hollywood's about right now.
Right.
It's like you're telling me we're losing their creativity.
Right.
Like you can't come up with other stuff.
Well, they're putting them in a box too. Like we have more of a box now than ever. Like if you want any type of really creative movie, you have to like either be a big head in Hollywood or you have to do it independently. There's no in between. That's what's up.
I think when it comes to horror films, people are scared to cross that line.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you don't really see children die. People are really scared to cross that line to kill kids in movies. I'm not.
Right.
Like my goal, if I was making a horror film and I wanted my goal is to make half of that theater walk out.
Right.
I want it so terrifying. Whether it's jump scare or just straight thriller, I want it so terrifying that you can't even watch all of it. And people are like, "Wow, you got to make money off a movie like that." I'm like, they already paid for their tickets,
right? And the word of mouth is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, because people are going to get curious, so they're going to go buy the tickets just to try to watch it.
I think they kind of missed the boat with the Nun in that aspect. Like the Nun is so unique and just a different type of horror that you could have pulled off.
It's a holy, unholy spirit, like
right?
It's this creepy demon that's portrayed as one of the holiest people in that religion.
Right. Like, and it's a male demon in a woman's getup, and it's just so horrifying to look at. Even like when it's in the dark, just seeing those eyes, they really missed the boat with that. They could have really scared the living shit out of some people.
They scared to cross that line.
Yeah.
People don't want to take horror to the next level.
I agree.
And they need to. Like, every time we hit a certain spec in that, like, it's like we build a tolerance to it. It's like with someone drinking. You drink a bunch. Eventually, you're going to need to drink more.
Yep.
Same aspect comes to, like, watching horror films and the way you get scared. Like, once you get scared the same way so many times, you're going to need something one up from that.
Right.
To make you get that thrill out of it again.
And what is it about horror films that makes them all short? They're usually about 90 minutes.
They don't put enough time into it?
I think they should extend them a little bit. Like, to really build the story and really take their time to scare you and shit like that.
Right, like your typical movie nowadays is close to 2 hours long, if not over 2 hours.
2 hours to like an Avengers movie, down there 3 hours. You know, shit like nobody's saying you have to do all that with horror, but at least give us 2.
Right, you know? Like an extra 45 minutes in a film makes a big
Hell
difference.
Yeah, that's like a whole nother film. You know what I mean?
Or I think if I ever tried to make something horror wise, I wouldn't make a movie. I'd make a series.
Oh yeah.
I'd want like 12 episodes.
Oh yeah.
You know, because like a series, it's like a super extended movie. I mean, if you know, there's some movies out there or some shows out there that have like hour-long episodes. So you sit down and watch 2 episodes of your favorite show, you've pretty much just watched a movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
So if you do that with a horror series where you got 12 episodes, that's like putting 6 different movies into one.
Right.
You got plenty of time and and you ain't got to all do it at once too. You could write out 3 episodes, get them going, and while those 3 are being filmed and aired, you move on to the next 3, and you can build off that too. Like, you know, oh man,
I work with this guy in Boston named Alfredo Pera, and he worked on the Pink Panther movie with Beyonce in it. He worked on that Rocky 6. He worked on a couple of different films, and I guess I was kind of like an apprentice in a way for a while. Like I worked with him on a couple of small projects, like a Doritos commercial, stuff like that. But the dude, he told me, it's like, man, if you're gonna do anything, do horror. He was like, it's the cheapest shit. It's the easiest to get funding for. Like, just do it. And these movies, they act like they're big Hollywood budgets when they're not. Like, it's not that hard to create a really dark room, light it up right, and then throw some sound effects in there, because that's all jump scares really are. Like, you don't have to go crazy with the CGI for a jump scare.
I mean, it's like the scene from The Nun with the that creepy hallway, the creepy corridor that's got all the wooden crosses sticking out from every direction.
Right.
Like, that ain't that hard to recreate.
No.
You could recreate that in almost any haunted house you wanted to.
Right, and they showed it like 3 scenes.
Yeah, they used that. They used that in multiple scenes, and it probably took them. I mean, I'm thinking like less than a couple $100 just to.
Yeah.
Like, all you gotta do is get a bunch of pieces of wood and make a bunch of crosses, stick them in weird locations, get you a little fog machine.
Right.
You're ready to go.
It was what? How many locations? What, 3? The whole movie? 3 locations. That movie had to be cheap as shit.
Yeah, they used that big abandoned church.
Right.
The little corridor building next to them.
I would call that just one.
Yeah, pretty much.
That one, the field, and then the place that, the bar. I forgot about the bar.
Yeah, where he.
That's 4. Yeah, the place where they found the nun, the young nun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I later found out that the girl that played the nun, that's the girl from The Conjuring sister that played Lorraine Warren. Yeah, okay. That's her sister, her little sister. She's 20 years older than her sister, so she's going to be her daughter, her mother. Whatever. That was interesting, but yeah, man. I mean, these movies have to start stepping it up, man. I mean, I'm not really mad at it because I enjoy them. but they have to step it up. You know what? One movie that's super underrated. Have you ever seen Deliver Us from Evil? Oh, what's the dude's name? The guy that played the first Hulk. Not Incredible Hulk, but the one before that, the big, like the fat Hulk, whatever his name.
The nerd in me is really sad that I can't answer that.
Let me see, what else was he in? Have you ever seen Troy?
Yeah.
You remember Hector? Yeah, Hector from Troy. That's the dude that...
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like, oh, God, what's his name?
I forgot his name, too. It's a demonic possession movie, though. And it's pretty cool because it's like a modern one. You know how The Conjuring always doing old stuff, or Insidious is like bouncing around like with fortune tellers and shit. This one is like about a cop that ended up beating this pedophile to death. And like the dude started coming back and like possessing people around him and shit. It's pretty cool.
Man, have you seen there's this new movie on Netflix called Truth or Dare.
Oh yeah, I saw that. You
seen that?
That's interesting.
That was actually really good. Like when it first started, I was like, I wasn't feeling it. Like I love that actress, the main actress in it, because she played in like that Pretty Little Liars. That chick flick show that was crazy for a couple years.
Yeah.
She was in that. So I knew her from that because my mom and my sister, all of them watched all those. And I was like, all right, like she's a good actress. Let's check this movie out. But I didn't have high hopes for it. But it actually turned out to be a really good like concept. Like this demon likes to play games with people.
Yeah.
So like if you start a game inside his little domain there, it becomes real life.
Right.
And like I love that concept, like Truth or Dare, where you have to do it or you die.
Right.
That
was dope. What I loved about it is it kind of brought it back, that feeling of the late 90s and early 2000s teen young adult movies.
Right.
Like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's what it felt like.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was like up there on one of my all-time favorite movies. It was corny. It was corny and it was cheesy.
Corny. But it's a great slasher film.
Good. I love slasher films. They're some of the best. There's and slasher films, they're no different than, like I was talking earlier, like your suspenseful hiking into the woods. Mm-hmm. Your characters are always the same setup. It's the same with the slasher films.
True.
You always got the couple. You always got the nerd that knows everything about slasher films.
Yep.
And you always got the jock.
I think Scream started that.
They like definitely had that first vibe of it.
Yeah. The Scream was like, I remember when Scream, well, I don't remember when it first dropped, but I remember when it was pretty new.
Late 90s, like, I think. What is this? I want to say like 96, 97 was the first one.
I'm like, what is this? This different. It's weird.
I think they made a series of that too, didn't they? Yeah, there's a series on Netflix.
Is it new?
It's new. 2016.
Yeah, pretty new.
It was pretty much the same idea. It was different. It's still called Scream, but like, did he wear the same mask? I think the killer in that still wore the same mask and everything. It was just, but they went about it the right way. That's like they took a horror. I mean, it was kind of like a reboot or like a continuing of a different horror movie, but they took it and put it into a series instead. It was a slasher series. I really like that.
That's interesting. I remember the first movie I ever saw in 3D was a slasher film. Called My Bloody Valentine.
Ooh,
seen that?
I went and watched that in 3D when it came out.
It was one of the. I think that was the best 3D movie I've ever seen.
That pickaxe coming at you.
Yeah. Like everybody in the movie theater just ducked. It was like, oh shit! It was that, and then the part when the dude was on the porch with was a flashlight or a gun. I think it was a flashlight. He was on the porch. And it looked like it was really like shining on the crowd. I'm like, that's the best 3D movie since.
Man, 3D is fun and all, but you know they got 4D type stuff out there, like at amusement parks and stuff. Yeah. And I want. They need to do that aspect with a horror movie.
Hell yeah!
So like, I think when I was like 13 or 14, I went to Universal Studios, and they had a 4D like Shrek experience.
Oh, I saw that.
Right, so like if they're riding in the carriage, your seat would rattle, like you're sitting in the carriage with them, or like when Donkey spits out
some.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It throws some mist in your face. It gives you that extra sensory detail to it. And if they did that with a horror film, where like if someone got stabbed and like blood splattered everywhere and they hit you with some mist,
that would be dope,
right? Like, that gives you just more of that thrill because it's kicking in more of your senses and getting you really into it.
Right.
Oh, my adrenaline would be pumping.
And like let's say somebody gets shot and they just make your seat jump back. That'd be crazy. That would be nuts. I played last time I was in Orlando, I went to Universal Studios. I rode that ride you were talking about, but while I was there, I did virtual reality, like killing zombies. Now that's weird. Dude, they'll put you in a whole room, and basically your job is to stop these zombies from getting into this barricade until this helicopter comes to pick you up, and you walking around killing them.
Right.
It feels so damn real, and then the motherfuckers that work there, they get you. This is how they get you. They'll come in and like grab your leg and shit while you got all this shit on.
You can't see.
You can't see or hear. So you like, what the fuck, man? Like, it's fun though.
Man, I'd hate to be one of those workers because there's people in there swinging wildly.
Right. That big ass gun, get your ass cracked. Yep. Man, I love horror though. Like, something about like, what do you think started the jump scares?
I don't know. I'm trying to think about like what was the first like real jump scare style movie.
I think the first one I ever saw was Mirrors.
I forgot about that movie.
Mirrors was good.
People slept on that movie.
Hell yeah, they slept on it. I think they slept on it because of the actors.
Probably. It was like, it wasn't mainstream,
high
end actors.
Yeah. It was like that old dude. What did he play in? Old dude. I think he was in RoboCop. Old ass dude.
That one was creepy, man. That made me not want to, like, I didn't fuck with mirrors for a while.
Right. And we can't end without talking about The Ring. Well, we're not in it right now. We got a while. But The Ring.
The Ring. Dude, all right, I got a story about this movie.
Right,
this is
let's
fun.
Hear
all
it.
right. So, man, when my stepdad was still alive, he was absolutely terrified of that movie. I mean,
your stepdad died?
Yeah, he passed away about 5-6 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to hear that, man.
It is what it is. But he wouldn't even touch the disc. I mean, he was petrified of this movie, and we fuck with him constantly. Like, he's a grown ass man. Like this,
right.
It amused me because he was supposed to be this big manly man, right?
Right.
Like he was a tough guy. He was a construction worker. But man, when it came to that movie, he was a little bitch. Like, all right, so like we would purposely leave it in the DVD player. Like we would put it in. We may have watched it. We may have just put it in there just to fuck with them.
Did it come on like the real tape? If I remember, didn't it come on as soon as it played like the real tape?
I think so. I think like immediately it statics and it plays like it shows her like right at the beginning.
Man, that's
and
like,
but like he wouldn't even give it time to start. But like let's say we'd put it in the DVD player in hopes that at some point he's gonna want to watch a movie.
Mm.
And this motherfucker would open the DVD player once he realized like to put his movie in. He would go get a rag or a towel to even get the movie out of the DVD player because he was so terrified.
Hell no.
He absolutely would not go near it. It was one of our favorite movies, but he hated it.
Is
We'd be like, Ben, you want to watch The Ring? He's like, no, fuck you.
Like, it's just a little girl. Yo, you gotta check out this video I did called Monster. It's like a remake of Michael Jackson Thriller. But we took this lady, her name's Holly. She's like 40. But she's small. She looks like a little girl or whatever. We took her and we made her hair black. She had her looking exactly like the girl from The Ring. It was so cool.
Mommy loves me. Mommy really loves me. Mommy really loves me.
And we ended up shooting. That was like first jump scare I've ever did on camera. So it was pretty dope.
It was great, man. I've another one of my like if in life experiences with like weird shit that shouldn't be going on. I don't know if it's paranormal or not, but I want to say it is because it definitely was an electrical issue. But when I was younger, we lived in the Oak Street apartments over in Scott City. God, that place is shitty. But we lived there, and it was me, my sister, and two of our friends, and we were in our room, and we were watching a movie. The movie ended, and like it went blue, and then it went, the classic static screen.
Right.
And we were a little creeped out because I'm pretty sure it was a horror film. And it was before The Ring came out. So we decided, we were a little freaked out with the static and stuff. So we unplugged the TV because we were freaked out. And then like 5 minutes later, we're all sitting there talking and that TV comes on again.
What?
It's unplugged. And it's still got that static screen. Now,
it
scared
bullshit.
The shit out of us.
Hell,
and we ran out of the room and we didn't even go back into our apartment. We went to their apartment instead, our buddies. And I'll tell you, I'm so glad The Ring hadn't been out yet or created. Because if I would have watched The Ring, where that's like a big thing of the movie, where you unplug the TV and it still comes on, I probably would have shat my pants. Like, there straight up would have been some issues. Oh, that would have...
Hey, have you ever seen the Paranormal Activities? The first one really got me, man. I was like, what?
They had some good jump scares, but I don't know.
You know what it was for me? It was, how old are you?
23.
Oh, yeah, you young. So you don't even remember the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, when they first started putting it out, it was like everybody thought it was just a real video that people found. Like, that's what people believed. There was no real internet following, nothing like that. Right. Like, people were really scared. Like, it was like,
that movie,
this is a real tape. People out there exploring the Salem witch, you know what I mean? Everything that's going on out there in the woods. And that's how they marketed it, which was genius because by word of mouth, like I was telling you, they made the nuns scary as shit. Like, they could have really cleaned up, but by word of mouth, everybody was like, look, you got to go see this movie, man. It's real with a $30,000 budget. It's real as fuck. Like, there's nothing fake about it. This is a real documentary. People, what was so genius about it is, now one time did they ever show a witch or anything. It was just all great acting and just good camera angles. Oh, yeah. I'm like, man, this movie was really a masterpiece on the low. Nobody really peeped that though.
Nah, it was like Blair Witch is. I think it marked the name for the horror world, and that movie had me shook. That's for sure. That was like one of my mom's. She's into the witchy movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was like one of my mom's favorite movies. So I'd watched it the whole time I was growing up, and I thought it was real for a long time too. But what makes it even more terrifying is it's one of the only movies that's based on a true story that has the most evidence to prove that could have been what really happened out there in those woods. I mean, these kids did go out there. These kids did go missing.
They later on said that basically the way that they shot it was they had like notes. Like, they gave each other notes, and there was the camera crew or whatever. They was signaling, like, where you supposed to go. But basically, they was on the fly just living in the moment. Smoking weed, go like, fuck it, man. I'm out here really scared. And they was living in the moment. Like the scene where the girl was crying all in the camera, the iconic scene. She was really mad because she was cold, and she got tired of doing it over and over again. So that was real. All that emotion was real. You could tell.
Yeah, that's what made the acting so good. Like, they were really. There was times in that movie those actors themselves were probably terrified.
Hell yeah.
Now, luckily, they didn't film it in the actual woods where it happened. Mm-hmm. I think they should have.
Hell yeah.
But
the fuck is this blue jelly shit all over my shit? I'll never forget that line. Hell yeah, man.
Even the second one, like, even after all the hype with the Blair Witch, Like
I didn't watch the second one.
Really, it was good. I think obviously it didn't have the hype of the first one because at this point everybody knows it's not real,
right?
And it's way far off because this one was just made to have a sequel to the first one, but this one ain't even based off of a true story. It's just the same concept.
It's crazy.
But in the second one, they finally show what this demonic witch thing looked like.
Oh yeah,
and it was creepy.
I didn't see. I'm gonna check that out tonight.
It had like this elongated like torso. It wasn't a witch that you would think. You know, like you think witch, you think robe and a little wand and shit. Yeah. But like this thing, it looked like a demonic creature. It had these long, like lanky arms that were as long as its body. Damn. And you only see it for a split second, like right towards the end of the movie. They're in like the house from the first one. Yeah. Like the second one's what it's supposed to be is like it's a team. It's supposed to be like 10 years later, and the girl from the first one, it's supposed to be about her little brother trying to go into the woods with his friends to find out what happened to his sister and her friends. Damn. And then they go through the same shit.
Damn.
But so it's pretty good, keeping up the storyline, even though it was nothing that really happened.
Right. I mean, that's one thing about Paranormal. The first one had people kind of thinking that it was real, like these are real, because we had never seen found footage that was like inside, so it was a completely different world. It was like these are real surveillance cameras, and this is what you see, and the way that at the time it was like foreign to have like regular cameras be able to use CGI that's that crazy and do all these different things. So yeah, I remember when that first came out, I heard people in school like, "Yo, this is real. Like this is no joke. This is a real movie." You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. But I like ones that are based off of real places too. Like it wasn't a good movie, but that movie they did about the suicide force in Japan,
I haven't seen that.
It wasn't that great of a movie. I wasn't a big fan of the movie itself. It did have a lot of good little jump scenes in it and stuff, but I think it could have been a lot better. But the fact that they made it based off of this actual
losing camera. Why the fuck is my camera dead? Battery dead.